but it opened me up for more growth, understanding that, hey, I don't know this yet, and now I can learn more. Because when you think that you know everything, you block yourself off from learning.
You are now tuning in to the Going North podcast with your host, best-selling author and professional speaker and member of the John Maxwell team, Dominic Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, we're going to hear the voice of a different author sharing their gifts, stories, and expertise to help you charge forward in life. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we bring you some fabulous humans from across the globe. Today is no different because we got one heck of a guest for you today to kick off this year into high gear. All sorts of bad rhyming. But yes, indeed, we got a legendary author in the building, baby. He's so legendary that he had to take his book out of print so folks could sell it for $600 on Amazon.com. But more importantly, this guy right here, he is the host of the Underdog Empowerment Podcast. It is a top-rated podcast that can be heard all over the globe, and it has some superstars on there. And this guy himself is a superstar because he can help you turn your podcast into a super-duper podcast, better than any superhero from Marvel or DC. Let's welcome the only ZB in the world that matters right now, Mr. Zachary Babcock. How are you today, sir?
Dom, what is going on, man? That's a heck of an intro right there. I'm glad to be here, though, man.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you on the show, man. I've been binging on your stuff, man, hearing your story. It's like one heck of a powerful story to see how you're just able to turn all that negativity into something positive that's helping the masses.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. And real quick, it was pretty funny you mentioned that about the book, man. I literally took it down because I kind of glorified network marketing in the book. I'm no longer doing it. And it's funny because people had the copies and they're selling it for like $500, $600 a copy now. I'm like, holy heck, man. I didn't know I could go for that much.
Yeah, man. I'm like, dude, I mean, dude's legendary and all, but god dang.
I don't know if dude, whatever you guys do not buy that book for $600. If you want a copy, I'll send it to you for free. I got the transcription.
Yes, indeed, man. It finished it last night. It's a great, quick read, inspirational read, and it's really a powerful one, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So for those who have been living under 20 rocks and don't know who you are yet, shame on them. Who is the one and only Zachary Babcock?
Man, hey, you're an awesome host, Dom. I'm telling you, you just got a gift for this. The way your voice is and how you introduce people, I'm really enjoying it so far, man. I appreciate it. You make your guests feel good, dude. Yeah, quick answer to that. I'm Zachary Babcock, and I do everything I can to live to my potential every single day. And I don't fake in front and act like I'm something that I'm not. I don't try to act like I'm further along than what I really am. And, I don't go out there and talk about things that I don't do myself. That's how I like to live my life.
Amen to that, dude. Amen to that. And I commend you for that because I think it was on social media a couple of days ago. And funny enough, it started off a year ago where you just made that bold declaration like you're just dialing back in the coaching in certain areas because it's like you haven't created that for yourself yet. And you weren't feeling comfortable joining the fakeness crowd of trying to sell folks snake oil and nowadays crocodile oil.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's some real stuff right there, man. Dude, like I was struggling. Long story short, after getting out of prison the last time when I turned my life around, I spent over 4 years not making any money, bashing my face against brick walls, trying to figure out how to make money online, how to support my family. But I wasn't going to give up, man. But anyways, long story short, I had the podcast rocking. And so I teamed up with this guy that had this program that had over 20 million in revenues and over 1,000 successful graduates in a program that was doing lead generation, customer acquisition, and scaling a business. However, we're bringing people in, getting people, with me being like the face of it, we repurposed this program that had these results. However, though, I hadn't accomplished these results myself. I'm broke at the time. And here I am trying to achieve what I'm teaching these people by teaching it. And it was just backwards. And I felt slimy. I felt like a sleazeball. I felt like a maggot. And it just didn't align with my values and how I live my life. And so I had to pull the plug on it, man, and call myself out. It was tough, but man, it was so liberating at the same time. And it led me to where I'm at right now.
Amen to that. And it just really shows like that there's still good people out there in the world, and we can still have faith in humanity.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, speaking of humanity, you have this huge goal that you want to do that's going to be very helpful to those out there. Because listen to your Sean Douglas interview, and shout out to good Sean Douglas and his Life Transformation Radio about how you want to help those who get out of prison actually acclimate back into society, man. So, mind telling us a bit more about that?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Here it is, man. That's the legendary, the legacy goal. And to be honest with you, I almost like cringe when I say that word, because there's so many, let's go back to the fake entrepreneur example here. There's too many fake people who use these buzzwords like, oh, be authentic and be, and give value. That's another one. And dude, like, come on, man. Most of these people that are pushing that aren't these types of people and stuff. And so I almost try to find different words because I don't want to be associated with that. But I almost hate talking about my goals. I'd rather just talk about stuff I already did. But this is something that's dear to my heart because, you know, having to go in through the prison system, I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking away the responsibility for anybody that goes to prison because it's their fault for going to prison. You made that decision. You put yourself there. I'm all about taking full responsibility for everything wrong and right in your life so that you had the power at all times and never have a victim mindset. Because once I shifted away from the victim mindset is when I started dominating life. However, having gone through the system, though, our judicial system is garbage. We have the highest recidivism rates in the world. The U.S. does by a long shot compared to any other country. And the system is broken, and it's designed to make money and keep the person that goes through the system dependent on the system. It's literally designed to keep you dependent. It gives you a fish. It doesn't teach you to fish. Welfare, food stamps, assisted living. That's not teaching you anything. That's just giving you a fish. And then on top of that, the programs that they have available do not help in any way, shape, or form. I went through these programs, all right? It's a complete, utter waste of time. And matter of fact, when you come out of prison, you walk around with an X on your record for the rest of your life. Even though you made that poor decision, even if you decided, okay, I learned from this mistake, I'm moving forward, it doesn't matter. That X follows you for the rest of your life, and you're not going to be able to get any decent job in corporate America. And it's really tough. And so getting a job to support yourself and your family is already as hard as it is. On top of that, they got you going to all these stupid classes that do not help in the first place, and you got to find ways to catch a bus or get a ride or whatever to get there, when that could be time spent for you to find a job and to be able to provide for yourself and your family. So the list goes on. There's plenty more problems and stuff, but those are some real glaring ones that stick out to me. And so what we do, you know, and this is just the infancy stages. Like I literally, at the time of this recording, it's like, I think it's January 7th, 2020. I started making money March in 2019, built a 6-figure business 8 months after March. So we're really in the infancy, but what we're doing is we're giving these convicts, not all, but guys and gals coming out who are serious about turning their life around, jobs at our agency and other places that we can team up with other partnerships with other people. Boom, now they got some money coming in their pockets. Then they're going to have to go through a certain program where they got to work and develop on their character, reading specific books and going through specific programs. And then for the guys and gals that are cut out to be entrepreneurs, boom, they won't need our help for long. They're going to be able to fly out the nest and do their own thing. And for the people that aren't cut out to be entrepreneurs, and continue working, get a pay raise, and work in a killer environment that they love and enjoy and be able to provide for their family. So our goal is a 9% recidivism rate nationwide or lower. I know it's a crazy goal if you look at some of the recidivism rates across the nation, but that's what it is, and that's what we're sticking to. And sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's something that I'm most passionate about.
Hey, man, it's winter. Ain't nothing wrong with long wind, man. Trust me, man. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I could probably go further down south with that joke, but I won't.
Yeah. I wish I could go further down south with that. I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri. Where you at, man?
The land of charm, crime, and crabs, Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh wow, so yeah, you know all about the cold winters as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ain't no winter's coming. It's freaking here. We don't get fall. We just get winter and summer.
That's exactly how it is in St. Louis. There's no spring and no fall. It just goes from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, man. One extreme to the next, indeed. And what's extreme is that, well, should I say extremely good, is that goal is to knock down that recidivism rate, and not only that, just speaking to both ends of the spectrum, entrepreneurs and folks looking for jobs. Because you're right, it's kind of like you get that X file once you're out of prison, then it's like, shoot, like it's like good luck finding a job if you can and keeping it, and good luck if you get promoted, because know that happened to you. And then there's the entrepreneurial route. It's like, hey, it's for those who want to be their own person and actually start their own business, there's that option too. So you're giving them the best of both worlds, which is a very worthy goal right there.
Yeah, man. You know what, dude? On some real stuff, man. I feel like entrepreneurship would be hands down I mean, I know in my heart, entrepreneurship is hands down the best route for any ex-convict to take. But here's the deal, though. From my experience, from doing over 5 years of my life in prison, growing up in Ferguson, Missouri, to running a six-figure business and rubbing elbows with multimillionaires every day, and being able to have that broad perspective from everything of what I just mentioned and everything in between. What I noticed, man, from living with these convicts for over 5 years of my life, a lot of these guys are great people, or most of them are good people. They just made a lot of poor choices, and they weren't exposed to what's possible for them. And I'm not taking any responsibility away from their own choices. All right. I will never do that. It's everybody's its own fault for going to prison. All right. You made that decision. But what I'm saying is, if they could just be exposed to what's possible, who knows what could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, you're definitely right about that. It's like, and the bad decision making can just come from a place of like low self-worth and maybe having a rough upbringing or just one bad emotional decision that just went down the rabbit hole and fell into a freaking tailspin.
Amen. Exactly. And now, but that also goes back. So that's a fine line that you got to dance on that line carefully, because at the same time, you can't let that, saying that is enabling a lot of these guys will hear that, and they'll start to use that as an excuse for why they're making their decisions, and they'll never start to grow as a person and start making better decisions. So you have to take that personal responsibility and understand that, hey, this is what it was like. This is what I know growing up, but I don't have to stay there. And here's what's possible. You have to be able to step off in that realm. And by offering this program, I know in my heart that you can get through to and show that to some people. And at the end of the day, though, too, that's why I said, for the people that are serious about turning their life around, that truly want to turn their life around, that's what this is going to be for, because we're not going to be able to save everybody. And at the same time, we're not going to be saving anybody. We're just going to be offering that mirror to hold up for people to see what's really in themselves, so that they can save themselves in all reality.
Amen to that, dude. You're definitely right. Like responsibility is a powerful thing. And just holding up that mirror, like something got to look at every single day. It's like, hey, you'd be like, Mr. Mirror, why are you so mean? It's like, hey, nah, man, that's you, man. That's you being a stupid moron. Like it's just you looking at you.
Yes, call it like it is.
That's right. Not Tyrone either, right?
No, don't, especially not in prison. Don't call Tyrone, period.
Oh man. Yes, indeed. So while you're in prison, you're reading all these great books and you just building up your mind and able to take that and actually get to where you currently are of having this new mindset and on this more proper path. So what are your three favorite books of all time, man?
Okay, I'm gonna easily be able to answer that question, but I just want to say something real quick. You know what's crazy, bro, is that I didn't read in prison because I didn't know what self-help books even were at the time, and I didn't know about self-education. That's why I'm grateful for the network marketing industry, because it showed me that route. Even though I'm no longer in network marketing, haven't been for years, and really happy where I'm at now, but I'm so grateful for the industry. But I did read one book in there, and it was because it was a book that we weren't supposed to have. It's his books are literally banned in prison. Robert Greene's. Are you familiar with Robert Greene at all?
Oh yeah, 48 Laws of Power, powerful
That
book.
that's the book that that we had, was the 48 Laws of Power, and we weren't even supposed to have it because it's all of his books are banned in there. But that, you know, anytime that you're not supposed to have something, that makes you want it even more. You know, that's the psychology in that in itself. So I read that book and I was like, wow, man, you know, and I was taking notes on it and all that stuff. But yeah, my favorite books of all time, three favorite books. That is a tough question, or I can answer it with certainty, but it's like there's so many more that you want to squeeze in there. But if you had to narrow it down, Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. All right. Then I'm going to say A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which is an incredible book, most transformational book I've ever read in my life. The
Oh yeah.
guy, yeah, man, dude, he went through the Nazi death camps and makes my little 5-year prison story seem like a daycare compared to what he went through. For real. For real. He went through some brutal stuff and he still came out on top. Like, oh my God, that book, if you haven't read it, go get that book. That book will, it's not just one of those books that got a few golden nuggets. It will literally transform the way you view the world, and it will empower you to like no other. Great book. And then finally, the third one, I would say Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah, good list right there. Indeed, good list right there. And definitely right about that man's search for meaning, because I listened to the audio first before actually reading the book, and man, oh man, like just hearing the stuff that he had to go through and still able to be alive and tell all of that afterwards.
It's crazy, right? That first half of that book, you're like, oh my God, like how is this even humanly possible to go through that? But yeah, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So not only that, you're able to take all of that wonderful knowledge and get to where you currently are. So out of all the things, you're able to start a podcast. So what led to you starting a podcast?
Yeah, man. I had started the podcast April of 2018. The actual first episode was April 18th is when I published it. And then I actually made the official launch. Social media announcement was April 25th. I did a little 7-day lead up to it. And what led to that, man, was anytime that I tried to collaborate with any entrepreneur. Now, mind you, this is April 18, so I had been out of prison for 3.5 years at the time. Anytime I tried to collaborate with any entrepreneur, nobody took me seriously. I was just an ex-convict turned entrepreneur afterthought that nobody gave the time of day to. And Dom, dude, I was pissed. I was livid. And I get it, man. People judge people. People that say, "Oh, I don't judge people." No, that's a lie. Everybody has to judge people. It's literally how your brain is wired for survival. Anytime you see anything, you immediately have to form an opinion of it and decide whether it's safe or not. Now, to hold on those snap judgments is another story, but anyway, so I get it, right? But, so I wasn't going to let those judgments so keep me there, and it was out of that pain and frustration that I launched the Underdog Empowerment Podcast for selfish reasons first and foremost, because you got to fill up your cup before you fill up any other cup, and it was also to empower other underdog entrepreneurs. And I use that like, okay, y'all are counting me out. I'm about to show you what's up, man. I'm about to go get it. And that's why we launched that podcast.
Amen to that. And you've been steamrolling it since, man. Like, dude, congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, man. Dude, it's been a ride, man. Podcast definitely changed the game for me.
Yes, indeed, man. So besides Robert Greene and Grant Cardone, who would probably be your favorite guest thus far, since there's many more to come on that podcast?
Yeah, there is a lot to choose from, and there was many great interviews. I really, really enjoyed the interviews with Andy Frisella, just because I resonate with like his whole mental toughness attitude, like, because that's some real stuff, man. Mental toughness is powerful. And I just resonate with his brand and everything he's about. And same with Ryan Stewman. Obviously, he did some time in prison, and now he's a multimillionaire. So I kind of look up to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, he's doing his thing too. But yeah, those would be two that I definitely really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, because Andy Frisella, I'm not sure if it was you or Tony. When I first found him after listening to the interview, I was like, oh dude, like this guy's on another freaking level. Like, dude, this is like the modern day self-help guru that you need, that really tell you just get your butt in gear and stop playing around, like really get your mind tough.
Yeah, everybody says like, well, he just gets, he don't even know what he's talking about. He just gets real passionate and just says, go do shit. Well, guess what, man? It's real stuff. Even though it's just like, it's not like super sophisticated. Like what he's saying is true. You can't really argue with it. And if you do the stuff that he's talking about, you'll get results. It's really the simple things in life that get the results, man. There's no secret to success, man. It's all about knowing exactly where it is that you're going, having really strong reasons why you got to get there, and being hungrier than anybody else around. That's it, man. You got those three key ingredients, you're going to dominate whatever it is you want in life.
Yeah, it's true. And you're right. It's the simple things that get the results. And I think that's kind of like the problem and the solution. It's the solution, but the problem is people see it as so simple, they just forget it.
Yeah, they want to overcomplicate. I mean, it's human nature, though, too, to want to overcomplicate everything and have an exact plan step by step and know all this and that. And yeah, it's cool to map out some things, but I mean, dude, when I interviewed Mark Randolph, the co-founder of Netflix, all right, they built a behemoth of a company, right?
Oh yeah.
Disrupted the market, put Blockbuster out of business. If you're old enough to remember Blockbuster and all that, like they changed the game, completely changed the landscape of how streaming, all that stuff, right? And he even said during the interview, Mark Randolph, he said, screw the plan. Just go out and do it. And you could pivot. He said, he said, if I were to go back and do it all again, I would do less planning and more doing. He said, you could pivot if it doesn't feel right. He said, you learn by doing. And so, yeah, it's okay to have a plan and know where you're going and kind of map it out. But guess what, man? Just like that Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. As you,
oh yeah,
as you know, life don't go as planned all the time.
Yeah, man, you were definitely right. And life will punch you every day. And heck, it'll punch your nuts too if it wants to.
Yeah, low blow all day long. When you least expect it on top of that. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. So since you've been on this interview train, is there a question that folks haven't asked you yet that you wish more folks would ask you?
That right there is probably one. It makes me think right there. Man, I don't know. Really my whole mindset when I just go into interviews is honestly, the only preparation I do is I like to study the host a little bit before I go on. And that's about it. And just to hear their personality and see how I'm going to be able to jam with them. I don't try to script things just like you, man. I just like to, because that's the best way to go about it, man, is just to figure out where that person, like, for example, if I'm interviewing somebody, I figure out where they're strong at, what they're passionate about, so I know where to guide the conversation. And then I get to feel out their personality a little bit, and that's it. And then that way I could get on and just have a normal conversation like we're having now and just jam.
That's right, baby. That jam, baby. Strawberry, raspberry, all the jam, baby. That's right.
And the grape.
Oh, that's right, baby. The grape, baby. Can't forget about grape, man. Especially grape Kool-Aid, man. You gotta remember all the jamming, baby.
No, that's right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, want to be respectful of your time. So coming down to the question every guest gets to answer, and that is, if you were to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again in the year of 2020, what advice would you give to yourself?
Yeah, man. So I'm 31, so that's 6 years ago. And what I would do, because I would just be coming out of prison, I literally got out of prison at 2 days after I turned 26 on my wife's birthday, the day she turned 26. So I would tell myself that, hey, you got a long way to go. You're getting ready to climb. You got a long hole to climb out a bit. Just go at it, attack the day, and don't act further along than what you really are. Just be yourself, be real. Don't 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 get caught up in the fakeness of all these people and the buzzword authentic. No, be real, be true to who you are, and stay hungry and know the reasons why you're doing it. Know exactly where you're going, have the target down, and have really, really strong reasons why you got to get there.
Amen to that. Be real and be hungry. That's right. And not just real hungry.
I like your style, bro. Straight up.
Yeah, man, because you were definitely right, man, because it's like, yeah, you got to be hungry, and you also got to also just be real too, because you're definitely right. Authentic, that's like a huge buzzword nowadays, along with vulnerability. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you want to gag just hearing it.
Yeah, man, it's definitely right, man. After a while, I was like, man, it's heck, even for me at one point, getting out of your comfort zone, that was like a buzzword for me at one point. I used to hate hearing that until I realized, you know what? Maybe I wasn't really getting out of my comfort zone at that point. Maybe that's why it was kind of pissing me off. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? Some folks are really just spouting off stuff, and they really need to realize, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to back off a bit and just don't tell them I'm doing it. Just do it.
Dude, amen, dude. And I get it, man. So many people. Now, there's a lot of slime balls that do this. There's a lot of them out there, and those are the entrepreneurs I just can't stand because they give the industry a bad name, and more importantly, they're scamming people. All right, I don't resonate with that, but a lot of them though, there's a lot of them that are good people. They just don't know any better because they see other people like, oh, this is what I got to do, and on top of that, they want to achieve their goals so bad. And they want to rush to success, so they're skipping steps that just can't be skipped, and they're doing it with good intentions, but it's just producing bad results. And at the end of the day, you don't want to. A lot of people don't want to be perceived by other people like it'll crush their ego if they're just being real. I'm like, hey, I don't have all the answers, but man, I'll tell you what, dude. By being real and just saying, hey, look, guys, I don't have all these answers, but I'm sticking my neck out on the line every single day, and I'm documenting every single little thing that I learn along the process, and I'm bringing people on this podcast that do have a lot of these answers that we don't know about yet. By playing that role, dude, that I did, dude, that was probably the smartest thing I could ever did, because what that did, not only did it build a real relationship with my audience, but it opened me up for more growth. Understanding that, hey, I don't know this yet, and now I can learn more. Because when you think that you know everything, you block yourself off from learning. It's been powerful, man.
Man, that's what I'm talking about right there. My man just dropped gold right there. Being real opens you up to more growth.
Hell yeah. Or heck yeah, my bad.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Good with 2 O's. No, freak it. Screw it. It's good with 20 O's. There we go.
Good.
Yes, indeed. So for those who want to be giant trees and giving positive shade to folks in the summer, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you, man?
Man, that was a heck of an analogy that you just put, or metaphor that you just laid out right there. I love it. You're going to have to write that down. For those who want to be a giant tree and give out positive shade to folks in the summer. That's awesome, dude. I'm literally going to use that again. Oh,
sweet.
Dude, yeah, definitely the podcast, man. Underdog Empowerment. You could pretty much listen to it on any podcast platform that you listen to podcasts on. But to make it really simple for you guys, you can go to underdogempowerment.com. And right there on the front page, you might have to scroll down just a tad. There's a little subscribe button. You can tune in on Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, whichever you prefer. Hope to see you guys over there. And Dom, thanks for having me on the show, man. It's been a blast.
Oh, man, it's been a blast jamming with you, man. Been waiting for this, man. Here with the podcast OG, baby. The podcast assassin.
Let's get it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So you heard it right, folks. Definitely subscribe to the Underdog Empowerment Podcast, baby. Follow this man. He is Making waves, my man, is blazing trails, baby. Blazing trails, blazing more trails than Portland, baby. That's right. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Thank you, my man.
indeed.
It's good.
Yes, indeed, man. Say the parting words for the folks still listening.
Oh man, I tell you what, like we kind of talked about earlier, take responsibility for everything right, own all the wrong and the right in your life. That gives you true freedom. I get it, man. Sometimes you're like, well, man, sometimes it really ain't my fault. Like, so say a tornado comes and wrecks your house and kills your family. God forbid that happens, but like, say that happens, right? You might be thinking like, well, that's an act of God. That's Mother Nature. I can't control that. True, you can't control that. However, you could decide to be miserable after that happens and want to end yourself and whatever, and live a life of misery or go out and kill other people, whatever it is that you decide. Or you could choose to let that empower you and go out and do some good with it and help other people that might be going through the same situation or whatever it is that you decide to do afterwards moving forward that's positive. Regardless of whatever you decided after that happens, that was your decision, which means you had the power to choose how you respond to any situation in life. That's one of the key lessons I learned in the Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Like he couldn't prevent all these in the Nazi death camps, them killing all the people and watching all his friends and family die around him. But he got to choose how he responded to that situation. He found a source of power when he was stripped of all of the human freedoms, except for that freedom to choose how you respond to any situation.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers.